Michael Chang with his first service game of this match on Stadium Court.
Well, the one thing Michael has done with his serve is definitely trying more first serves flat now than he was when we saw him a year ago here at the Open. He was content to spin the serve, and now you'll see him belt a few, like that first one.
McEnroe, like the batter facing the fastball pitcher, needs to time a couple of those.
John hits the forehand down the line, sees that he hit a good shot, comes in to take the net, misses it off the top of the frame. Now he'll anticipate, waited till the very last second and stuck his racket out for the forehand volley.
And you see him do a little fake here. Now watch, he gets set up. There it is. One side to the other, and then as you said, Vitas, he just anticipated so well.
That's what all the great volleyers try to do.
Some players have great anticipation, and some have great anticipation and a great set of hands. McEnroe has both.
Yeah, 3 times already.
And the first words of the night for McEnroe. I believe there was somebody seated in the stands. 30-all. Full surprise. This is a much harder serving Michael Chang.
111 miles per hour. That is some speed for Michael Chang. Not known for his big first serve. Could be a factor here tonight.
He's added a more pronounced knee bend to his serve. A lot more spring from the knees up.
McEnroe comes to net, Vitas, I feel players are tempted to just hit the ball a little bit too much because he moves so well up there. His hands are quick, he covers net, and you feel like you have the deepest passing shot you got.
He's very intimidating when he gets up there because you know he's very difficult to pass and he covers the lob very well.
People to sit down behind Michael.
That's there. Somebody was in the line of vision of McEnroe.
And the yellow shirt, lose the ball in the line of sight.
Sure, all those basketball fans out there, what are they talking about? I see Michael Jordan trying to shoot a free throw at the Bulls game. There's 3,000 people up waving their hands, all white, and yet he sinks them right and left. But tennis is a little different, in all fairness. You really do need a good background. Still steaming that first serve, 109 miles.
McEnroe making Chang work in his first service game.
And also, John is just camped on the baseline. He is not retreating 1 inch. He wants to take everything on the rise, which makes the ball seem to return much faster to Michael Chang.
The two players that really do that a lot, Agassi and McEnroe, they hit a lot of half volleys from the baseline because they are so far in.
balls on the rise is that John will take every opportunity to exploit that by coming into the net. Here he tries to take it on the rise again. It's right on the baseline. And Michael Chang tries to make too good of a shot.
That was just a great approach shot. McEnroe about a foot from the baseline.
He's so alert. Whenever he hits the ball deep, he sees an opening, he'll start running right to the net.
And what else he does so well, Vitas? He moves, and at the same time, he gets power into the shot. A lot of guys, when they're on the move, make a lot of errors. Not McEnroe. Deep approach shot. John a little surprised with how well Michael handles this ball.
John hit a great approach shot, very deep, and the only answer was a lob by Michael Chang, but he hit it perfectly. A foot from the baseline, John tried to hit one over the head. Just missed.
And you saw McEnroe hesitate just for a moment there. He wasn't real happy with the return. Watch it now. He kind of mishits this return, but immediately decides to go in, and then again the anticipation into the open court. Of the three last approach shots, that was the weakest, and he hit the best volley off it.
What a game this has become on Chang's first service. McEnroe has not had a break point in the game, but Chang has been unable to put it away.
Barry, don't you feel when a player knows that you're a good chip and charge volleyer, that sometimes your worst approach shots turn out to be your best approach shots, especially under pressure? You have to know how to play the points and the situation.
Puts it away. 14-point game. Chang holds his serve. Two completely different generations of tennis players. And after 14 years, McEnroe still ranked in the top 20.
Interesting. 77 titles for John. Michael obviously has not been around as long. He's picked up 4, but one of those 4, obviously, the French championships.
And at age 19, he is already in his 5th professional year. 1988, just 3 years ago, Andre Agassi and Michael Chang were the first of the young Americans rising through the ranks to give U.S. fans hope again. Now Courier and Sampras and the other names.
Very distracting, thank you.
And Michael Chang is the unseeded player here. I'm sure both men expect this could be a real war of attrition.
And both players are very happy they did not play this afternoon. So far, it's been a little bit more quiet of an evening for Mr. McEnroe Sr. than Tuesday night.
Drop volley backfires on McEnroe that time. Dangerous shot on this surface, especially against Chang. John in after the serve now. Sets up. Hits the little drop volley a little bit high. Gave Michael a chance to come in. He very wisely hits the lob. Saw McEnroe moving in. And John tries to drill a winner from way back.
Would many players have reached this drop?
He started early, Ted. Real early. But the ball was pretty high, actually. I think a lot of guys would have gotten to that ball. Maybe even beat us a couple years ago.
2 break points for Chang. Chang struggled so hard to hold his serve, and then he breaks McEnroe with ease. McEnroe and Chang. And Chang is up a break.
I think Michael Chang so far, Barry, has tried to make a concerted effort to hit the ball much harder, to try to throw McEnroe's timing off, not to give him too much time to react and use those quick hands at the net.
Well, there's a good example of it, Venus. Big serve, bigger than he usually hits, comes in, hits the volley, and knocks off the overhead. That is not the usual Michael Chang we've seen. Big topspin here. John throws up the lob. Michael back quickly. That was not an easy overhead. He ends up behind the service line. Anytime you take one behind the service line on the full, tough shot. Does the two-handed lob beat us close differently than Jimmy Connors. He doesn't hold it quite so long as Jimmy. I think that's one of Connors' best shots.
And generally, Michael Chang will try to hit it with a lot more topspin, whereas Jimmy's lob is a lot flatter, with not quite as much arc.
McEnroe trying to get the break back. It's 15-30.
I still think that's a good play. The score's 15-30. You miss the approach shot. And the worst it can be is 30-all. One of the great guys with scoring, we saw him earlier today, Pancho Segura. Boy, did he know how to play the score.
And plus, for McEnroe to go for a shot like that on an approach shot sends a message to Michael Chang. I'm just going to keep attacking you, attacking you, attacking you all night long. You pass me enough times.
What do you think, Venus? Chang takes a big swing on that approach shot and missed it that one.
Rumblings from the crowd for the first time. McEnroe with a break point.
You can see the difference there. McEnroe well behind the baseline on the first serve. Now he's moved in to the baseline, and there he comes.
set. Tomorrow, a USA world premiere movie, Isabella Rossellini, starring as a beautiful model who could be destroyed by lies of the twins. Aidan Quinn co-stars. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 1 Central, a USA world premiere movie. We're back on serve, and it's McEnroe's turn.
This time McEnroe volleyed into the open court, gave Michael Chang a lot of running room, held the backhand straight through, up and over.
How does McEnroe Chang's speed?
I think he's going to have to go behind him quite a bit. Everybody has a tendency to volley out into the open court, and a guy like Chang loves that. He hits a lot of shots on a dead run for winners.
That's true, because Michael Chang, Ted, takes off. That's his big speed. The first couple of steps. So if you can hit the ball behind you, you're going to catch him going the wrong direction a lot of times. Frame of McEnroe's racket. Yeah, you better give that a little kiss. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Watch it now, because McEnroe goes up, and the crowd gasped. They thought for sure he'd lost his point. Michael with the big topspin here. Now, John sees it. He's up right off the top of the racket. The ball totally spinning backwards, and it bounces back over the net. From another angle, McEnroe up. There it is. Now, watch John. He's watching the ball. It hits the court. Thank you very much. There it comes.
Too good. Too good.
Oh, man. This is the kind that happened about once every 2 years. That's good. And so far, McEnroe with all the breaks here.
A shot like that could get you charged up a little bit. You might start to feel things are really going your way.
See that ball come running back through the picture there? Yeah, that's tough. That was really Chang gang like that one.
He can be so active. He seems to place McEnroe in a lot of awkward positions. Gets caught.
Well, John plays some of his best volleys, Ted, very close to the net. So Chang is aware of that. He's going to catch him a few times. Yeah.
John was just a little bit too casual with that shot. You saw that Chang mishit the ball. And look, what an easy shot I've got here. And it seemed he let the ball get behind his head instead of out in front where he normally hits his overhead.
Also, that ball was dropping a lot quicker because of the mishit.
And it really annoys you when you hit a shot like that.
Especially on game point, exactly. hit with that much speed and power, you're right on, Beatus. He's trying to crank up the pace a little bit here.
Well, I think he's mapped out a pretty good strategy against McEnroe. It's just a question, can he execute that all night long?
What a change it would be for Michael Chang. He's been a different player in '91.
Tennis player, Barrett. I know you've seen a lot of great players that hits a half volley better than McEnroe.
No, he's the best. Really, he gets caught so often there, and it's always become a standard shot for him.
Tatum O'Neal looking a little worried, keeping her fingers crossed.
You know the other thing about having a tough service game early in a set, I think it's really good for the player like McEnroe because you're tested, you're down a break point, you come back, you win that game. It goes a long way for confidence early in the match. He's being tested this game, that's for sure. Michael getting a lot of good returns.
The first 5 games of this match are making you believe that this is just the very beginning. It could be a very long night. These games are battles.
The games are long, Ted, but the points aren't that long. I think the key thing here is one guy could get on a roll a little bit. I'm not sure we'll have a real long match tonight. I think it's going to be quick points.
Michael Chang had all the time in the world. John did not put enough stick on the volley. He comes from way below the ball, straight up over the top. And look at how sharply he makes the ball dip. Way up in the air, and it'll just like shoot straight down. That's how much topspin he put on it. Wicked spin.
And you saw McEnroe there protecting that shot up the line. Gave Chang a lot of court to hit into.
But that was almost a perfect situation for a lob, and there was no way to defend against it.
McEnroe, after that volley, said, why don't I hit him like that? Now watch the return here. Solid return. John takes that extra little half step, and the firmest volley he's hit all night, right there into the open court.
Another long game. Our 4th deuce point.
McEnroe.
Another look here, right at us at home, and watch this now. McEnroe snaps it out wide. Michael moving to his left. Another one of those replays.
Right
Clearly
into
an
the
ace,
living
right?
room sofas.
110, 112 mile-an-hour serves. People argue 1/8 of an inch. Still. Took 14 points, but McEnroe holds for 3-2.
Michael Speak survived a 5-set match earlier today. Back to Stadium Court now. McEnroe and Chang, Ted Robinson, Barry McKay, Vitas Gerulaitis.
Well, John McEnroe has no luxury like that. He cannot go anywhere in New York without being known.
Well, maybe if he put sunglasses on. I don't know.
Let me tell you, you should walk around the grounds here at the National Tennis Center with Vitas Gerulaitis. It takes a long time to get from one end to the other. It's a lot of fans stopping there.
I'd bribe everyone with ice cream.
But you had a limo take you everywhere, Vitas. Well, I guess after the events of the summer, that pairing is not surprising. Monica Seles watching actor Alex Baldwin.
I've never had any movie stars ask me to sit next to them.
Wait till you see the tabloids in London tomorrow morning. To pick up on the sun early tomorrow morning. Now watch how well McEnroe does this. The key is how the racket face comes back when he meets the ball. McEnroe in now. Right here, watch the racket back. The face comes back. All the pace comes off the ball, and it stops.
And he disguises the volley very well. He keeps it way out in front, prepares so early that you can't tell if he's going to go cross court or down the line with it. 30 all. One thing when you're playing a guy like Michael Chang, you'll have a lot of opportunities to come up with a lot of spectacular shots because he'll make you play every single ball.
Also, Vitas, I think that shot, even though it's dangerous on this surface against Chang, probably a pretty good shot because he hangs back there behind that baseline after he hits the ball.
That's a strategy that John McEnroe is going to use all night long. Try to rush the serve of Michael Chang. They look familiar.
Yeah, I've seen her around here, haven't I?
What's her name? Macy Tracy.
Guy's name with her is Scott. I know that.
Oh, that's our Tracy Austin.
I know who to ask for tickets for next Friday.
Michael Chang almost left skid marks on the court that time. McEnroe lunges for that one, and look at him, he tracks it all the way down. And what's even more amazing, he almost gets this ball. He almost double steps there. Couldn't get the rubber going.
Another look at John from another angle here. There's the little drop volley. Now watch McEnroe. Great anticipation here on his toes. Gets the backhand, and unbelievably has to hit one more shot to win the match. Against 99 players, Vitas, he would have won it with the backhand volley.
So it is now 4-2 McEnroe.
For serve.
And service hasn't meant an awful lot in this first set. We've had 4 breaks in 6 games. What is John McEnroe working with on his tennis these days, Vitas?
Well, he's been working for a very, very long time with Antonio Palafox. Way back in the days of the Port Washington Tennis Academy, where John and I both grew up, learned to play tennis. Antonio's in attendance tonight. John always goes back and touches base with him to just see what he may not be doing as well as he had in the past years.
Palafox, one of the great Mexican Davis Cup players. Look at McEnroe here with that slice serve out wide. And Michael Chang just hits that beautiful shot down the line.
Didn't quite snap it off wide enough against Michael Chang. It was well within his reach. John's trying to put a lot more pace into his volleys now, too. Not taking anything for granted. Even that high forehand volley, he really muscled it in, not to give Chang a second chance to run the ball down.
From both players as you can do. They hit the right shots at the right time. Michael just came up with a slice back in here. Not the two-hander. Stays in the backcourt. Big sweeping topspin there. Rips it over. Gets set early now and just gets through that two-hander.
Great footwork. Beautiful preparation each time.
Former Australian player Phil Dent spent much of his year working with Michael Chang, and Phil Dent got him to hit that one-handed backhand.
That's the little added variation that Michael Chang has added to his game. That slow slice.
Chang also has great balance from the baseline. Reminds me of a guy I've talked about so often. You remember Ken Rosewall. About the same height, 5'7", what can they move along that baseline? There's Joe Chang and
there's Betty.
Betty on his right.
She came back.
He hasn't missed too many points of Michael's in the years.
McEnroe serving here for 5-2 in the first set.
Like Rosewall makes you play a lot of first volleys low. You beat us over 5 sets. It gets you a little bit tired. You hit a good serve, the ball's at your feet. So what do I have to do to win a point?
Game point, now a break point for Chang.
Over 20,000 people jammed in the stadium court out here tonight.
Save the game point. And we are back on serve again. USA held a ticket lottery to see who could get down near courtside, and Michael Barkan won.
That's right, Ted. Ladies, be still your beating hearts. I am with screen idol Alec Baldwin, and who do you like in this one?
I like Johnny.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you're New York boys?
Yeah, totally. No, I've been watching McEnroe play tennis longer than Chang. I mean, McEnroe's got I don't know how many years on Chang age-wise. So I've just been watching guys like McEnroe and Connors longer than the rest of these guys.
What, do you play any tennis as a youth?
I'm out there hacking every now and then. Yeah, I'm trying.
Monica, we have Monica Seles. Monica, just for a second.
You did a nice job in your match this evening. 6-1, 6-4, and you got Regina Rakitova coming up from Czechoslovakia. What do you think about that match?
2 months ago on the clay courts. She's a left-hander. I've never played some left-handers in a tournament, so it should be a good match.
Do you take anything from a match like this, watching the guys play?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is unbelievable tennis tonight. I mean, like, whenever you get a chance to watch Michael or Connor or something, another one of them, you can always only learn. I mean.
Alec, I got to ask one question. Where's Kim this season?
She's on her way to California. She couldn't be here, but next year I'm going to make her come.
Just me and you, guy. All right, back upstairs.
Where can I get that voice?
That is sensational.
Maybe Alec can come up here and lend it to me for about 6 months. Huh? What a voice.
I don't think it's just a voice.
Five balls.
Well, I was waiting for Michael to ask Monica about why she happened to be seated there. I thought we might get a little something brewing to make those tabloids purr in the morning.
They don't need any help from Mark.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, well, we have a little change of tennis balls here. It is love 15. Chang serving at 3-4 first set.
Oh!
Mixing up the speeds of his ground stroke very well that time. He set that up with a high rolling forehand. Now he sets up for the drive backhand. Straight through, followed through. Stayed really low on the court.
Oh!
Was McEnroe for that second serve, well inside that baseline.
That second serve was right on the line.
Well, McEnroe's going to try to intimidate you when you're serving second serves. Let you know that, hey, buddy, I'm going to come in and give it a whack. So you better hit a good second serve, and he gets a lot of double faults from his opponent.
Michael again down the center with his second ace. And he is opening up 109 miles per hour.
Well, McEnroe was serving for 5-2. Very quickly, it is 4-all. Very deliberate pace to this match, which I guess matches the weather. And the crowd hasn't really been able to get into it yet.
There's a shot we talked about. McEnroe trying to hit the volley behind Chang. And sometimes, Vitas, when you do that, it isn't the natural shot that you would hit, and you get into trouble. Anticipation and hands at the same time here. Now McEnroe scoops it up on that half volley. Watch him move to his left. Well before Chang got ready to follow through, McEnroe was already there. Made it look easy.
Shotting Michael Chang. That time John McEnroe opted to stay back on his serve. Chang anticipated the drop shot, saw McEnroe come under the ball, and he just moved so well. First couple of steps are so quick, and with that two-handed backhand, he has the option of rolling down the line, cross court,
15-30.
McEnroe did well to pick up that volley. Normally he's about 2 feet inside the service line, but that time he hit the volley right behind the service line. A very difficult shot, and he anticipated well and got up, extended awfully well for the overhead. Big point.
Shows you the difference in styles. McEnroe's been in there 47 times. 126, pretty good percentage. Chang only up there 11 times. Exact same percentage.
Double fault gives Chang a break point. Can McEnroe win this match with 55% of net?
Absolutely.
He can win it with.
Yeah, but he's got to keep coming in.
He's going to keep coming in, but I think his percentages will rise a little bit more. I think he'd win more than 55% of the volleys at the net.
You got to expect to get past when you keep coming in. You're going to get past time and time again, but it's the big points that you can put away that count.
Here's a huge point for McEnroe. First serve, got it in. What, you were a player like McEnroe, what would you target as a percentage?
The great Bill Tilden said, get in 10 times, and you're going to win 7 out of 10. Let him pass you a couple times, but 7 out of 10. In my books, I think that's 70%. It's been a long time since I got out of school, though.
You used the abacus, didn't you, Bear?
Thanks, Ted.
Second serve at deuce.
Watch Michael Chang now. Great footwork here. Racket back. That's the shot to put the ball in play right so he can get to it quickly. McEnroe.
This time he made a couple incredible gets to his backhand side, and he was unlucky that the passing shot clipped the top of the tape and bounced over.
Look at him change directions there. Put the brakes on, racket back quick, and there's the passing shot.
A break from Michael Chang. We will come back, and Chang will serve for the first set.
Also working with the USTA, developing younger players.
There is Carl Chang, Michael's brother, who went to Cal and Berkeley.
The ever-present figure of Joe Chang. And the Chang family, which has been very, very involved with Michael's tennis career, has probably cost him the work, let's say, of a Phil Bent.
Great opportunity for Michael Chang to get back into that point. McEnroe had an easy volley, played it back to Chang, and Chang overhit the forehand. He's really trying to rush and get in close to the net so that he's able to put it away easier. Chang, once again, he gets so far underneath the ball, but then that extreme flip over the top of the ball.
And you can see on this shot here, it was a safe lob because it's well inside the baseline. but the topspin is what brought that ball down so quickly.
30-15. Michael Chang has turned this set around dramatically and now has a set point.
Suddenly Chang here looking like a natural volleyer. Big topspin on the approach. Watch the way he sets his volley up, just kind of casually into the open court. Amazing. McEnroe was ready to climb all over that second serve. Michael didn't like the toss. He'll try it again.
Slow call out, and Michael Chang has won the first set. A late call. 20,000 people as Steve Ulrich in the chair. Thought that was good. Now John McEnroe is going to look back at 1 point. 4-2, 40-30. Serving for 5-2. And in what seemed like the blink of an eye, Chang wins the set.
Great shot there. McEnroe over. Both in focus.
The call was not changed anyway. It was just slumped. John McEnroe now needs to be much more concerned with his own serve. McEnroe lost 3 of the 5 games he served in the first set.
He's missed a couple of those forehand volleys down the line.
Chang's speed is bothering John a little bit here. He knows how tough he is. We have another look at Tatum O'Neal.
McEnroe seems to be a couple inches wrong in all his volleys this evening. But that's largely due to the fact that Chang has been dipping the ball very well, making McEnroe hit a lot of low volleys.
His first game of the second set, psychologically very important for John. He doesn't want to lose serving. That feeling that the steamrolling is starting here from Chang.
McEnroe in the first set won less than 50% of his points when he got his first serve in. That's disturbing.
Another interesting fact here, McEnroe has missed 11 volleys. That is a lot of errors for John in the first set so far.
Chang with a question to call on McEnroe's second ace. Michael points to a spot he thought the ball hit. Steve Ulrich said, I saw that hit the line. Another look now as the ball hits towards that sideline on the serve. You call it, Vitas. Nice job, Barry.
Thanks.
Quite a statistic there. Children and Wendell, pretty big names in the history of the sport.
McEnroe serving at deuce.
Michael Chang prepares so well, sees the ball so clearly. There's that footwork that sets it up. He's never out of position. Always on his toes, getting the racket back real early.
Won the first set and breaks to start the second.
Vitas Gerulaitis on Stadium Court.
Where Michael Chang is up a break in the second set and serving at 15-all. Right now, when you have to say McEnroe is in serious trouble because he can't hold his own serve.
Chang has put an awful lot of pressure with good returns. And John has not been able to vary his serve well enough today. He's tried to break a couple of those wide serves out to the backhand, but just hasn't been able to get it wide enough. And Chang's been all over it.
Also, Michael's been serving very well, keeping that second serve deep, because John loves to take the second serve and come in behind it. He has not been able to do that too well thus far.
John's frustrated. He seems that every shot he hits has been missing by just an inch or so.
This time he left his racket on the court, and the crowd is again trying to rally McEnroe.
John moving, getting back to the forehand, anticipated it. Chang hit the volley right back at him. Oh no, I just can't believe it.
Michael Chang has won 6 consecutive games.
McEnroe taking a bit of extra time now. A lot of shouts coming out of this crowd. Let's go, John. We want to see this thing get a little bit closer.
McEnroe get the same juice out of the crowd as Jimmy Connors?
I think they get a pretty good buzz out of it. I think Jimmy's fans are just a wee bit rowdier.
You know, it's interesting because the crowd has come to life so much for Connors, especially this year. You think that Jimmy and John were both New York natives.
Is it tough for Michael Chang to not take it personally, to understand that people aren't rooting against him?
You know, when you get to play a lot of international tennis, you play against foreign players in their own country, so you get to play in front of some very hostile crowds. Although the New York fans have been ranked right up in the top 5.
The blue seats in Madison Square Garden, #1, right?
And gets caught behind the service line there. Takes off again. Real quick with the racket, but not enough.
For serve.
John McEnroe really slowing the pace of play down. His serve.
Double fault. John's going to do whatever he can to try to upset the rhythm of Michael Chang. If it takes slowing down his time in between points, trying to bother Michael Chang in whatever way he can, because right now he's not doing it with his serve. So try to do it with your antics or your timing on the court.
And they talk about the young ladies in this game. That was an interesting graphic we just saw. Michael Chang, the youngest player to win here at the U.S. Open. A couple of years ago.
It's hard to believe this is already his 5th Open. This game may be the one McEnroe needs to prevent a steamroll. It's 30-all.
Michael can really make that topspin lob dip. Looks like he's going to go a yard long, and it just dive bombs back into the court.
McEnroe has been broken his last 3 service games, trying to snap it on this point. And he does it with an ace, so McEnroe on his 3rd ace holds his serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 times the U.S. Open champion, John McEnroe.
See if John can put a little pressure on Chang's serve. He's been holding his serve relatively easy.
I think this is a big game, Vitas. If John's going to get back within the flow of the match, he needs to break early here in the 2nd set. He's intense. Some wind now blowing up on the stadium court. Boys up in an effective shot for him all night long as the Chang game continues to look on.
Michael moving very well to his right. Looks like he's going to hit a regular passing shot down the line. It just comes right over the top of the ball.
Now you can see where John is here, only about 3 feet from the net. Gets caught, his weight moving in.
Now the McEnroe is out with his serve. He needs to try and make a mark on Chang's serve.
McEnroe jerks you around the court. He tries to take control right off the bat. But tonight, Chang has done a good job of nullifying McEnroe's ground strokes.
What can McEnroe do, Vitas, to try and dent Chang's serve?
Well, I think he'd like to get a little bit steadier in returning Chang's serve. And he's got to punch his volleys away a little bit more. He can't give Chang a second shot from the baseline.
There's another one of those half volleys we talked about earlier. John loves that shot. Never seems to bother him, but that time just overhit it.
16 winners by McEnroe, 22 by Chang. 22 errors versus 8.
Michael has played what you have to call a very tight match tonight. Missed too many easy balls. He's been very firm.
I've always thought that Michael Chang was a little bit too defensive with his ground strokes. Never really used them to full effectiveness. Good shot of McEnroe coming through the ball, getting in close to the net. Volley way out in front. Chang's always been very defensive with his ground strokes. Tonight he's used it as an offensive weapon. Chang's always been known as a great counterpuncher, but today he's been bringing the game to McEnroe.
And that's in line with the whole goal Chang set out for 91. He was going to be a more offensive player.
John was not happy with the way he hit this one overhead. Gave Michael an opportunity now. Chang again with the lob. And McEnroe just watches it bounce well inside the baseline.
Barry, John may have to try to back up a little bit and not commit too early on his volley. Seems like he's moving in so close all the time. He's got to realize by now that Chang's really trying to use the lob as an offensive weapon. Try to take that away from him. Stay back a little bit further until he starts to try to pass you, and then start to close in a lot closer.
Wait.
Somebody heard a let.
Why? Because he missed the call? Because he missed the call?
You're making a call.
But that was clearly a let.
Okay, but we have to call. I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
Here, I didn't hear it.
There's the net toward the
deadlock.
Michael Chang was calling that out as the point was being thrown.
Well, I think both players felt that it was a let. John looked like he wasn't really playing a point either.
We just talk about a little advice. John has not found that camera in the corner that Jimmy found a couple nights ago, so they can communicate with you. Maybe he'll find it here tonight.
For serve.
Well, that was a let.
I think that camera only works when Jimmy yells into it.
Yeah, it's a one-way camera, isn't it?
It's a Jimmy cam.
Communicating with Vitas has always been an easy thing, hasn't it?
I don't know, boys.
Some of those still cameras courtside. It's packed down there tonight. Watch where this ball ends up now. And watch the follow through by Michael Chang. A high bouncing serve, and Michael comes over the ball, jumps at it, and the ball about 6 inches from the sideline and the baseline.
That serve didn't look like it really had a whole lot of purpose. Just was in the middle of the box, wasn't trying to go for an angle, didn't try to jam him. So John can't afford to keep letting Chang back into these games, being up 40-15, 40-love, 40-30 ahead in the game. But you know, it's always easier said than done when you're sitting up here. Great armchair quarterbacks. And that really bothers your opponent when he knows that even those easy shots are not a gimme anymore. He reads that McEnroe's hitting way over to the backhand side, and he just scampers over there. Great extension.
It's a great effort.
Look at the intensity. Oh, he is staring down the ball.
Carl Chang on the far right. Carl Chang, believe it or not, Michael's brother, who we just saw, was ranked above Michael in the juniors back in 1985. There is Carl right there, who is actually
white
T-shirt Michael, and is now coaching Michael. White.
McEnroe so far has not given the crowd an opportunity to really let loose. Second serve here at deuce.
Again, Chang nearly stole a point. And the reason Chang was able to run that one down is because John had a chance to put the backhand volley away, or at least hit it hard enough where Chang couldn't make a second shot. He just pushes it deep into the court, and then you give Chang an opportunity to run down shots.
You make the call. McEnroe gets the second serve there. Chang still up a break in this second.
Ted, I ran into the king of comedy. I'm with Alan King, actor, comedian, and we were right here for that serve. And
it was wide.
There you go.
So did McEnroe too. You notice he went right back and hit the second one.
Now you're here just about every day. You've got your own bar.
Every day for 40 years. I have no place else to go at this time of the year.
What are your impressions of this particular Open, 91 Open? Who do you like in this tournament?
I think it's wide open. I think there are 5-6 guys can win it. I think they ought to put a roof over this and air condition it. It's very hot.
It's been brutal out here. What do you think Mac has to do to stay in this thing? Because you can get very caught up in the bad play.
I think Mac, he made a lot of candles. I think Mac, who's already a living legend. I mean, Mac doesn't have to worry about his place in tennis history. But I think he's going to have a little trouble tonight, as he is. Chang's young and he's trying to find himself again. I think Mac's in a little trouble.
Let's hope he didn't hear you upstairs.
of his service game.
I was hopeful that Michael might have asked Allen how his forehand was coming, because we've talked about it so often through the years. One of the bigger shots in the game. And every once in a while it went in.
McEnroe the type of player that consciously would try to do something to get the crowd fired up.
If he thinks it would help him play, sure. I mean, he's a maestro when it comes to orchestrating the crowd, the linesmen, changing the tempos of the match. But he's feeling a little frustrated. He doesn't look very happy. Very sarcastic smile on his face there. He wasn't happy. He missed wildly with that backhand.
At this stage of his career, does he still have the passion to do that if he's behind in a match playing less than his best as he is tonight?
I think every time he walks out on the court, especially in New York, he's still very intent on showing the New Yorkers that he can play some good ball.
Oh yeah, he wants to win.
Physically, I think he could stay out there for 5 sets. But Chang does not give him a whole lot to work with tonight. Chang's surprising me by how he's played so much more aggressively, getting into the net, trying to mix up his game, not letting McEnroe settle into a rhythm.
Serving at 40-15. And Chang holds for 4-2 in the second set. We mentioned at the outset these are two players of different eras and generations.
He said, you know, I ball boyed for you. Yeah, did you have to say that?
Harry, I'm interested in knowing if you can tell me who sang American Pie.
Don McLean. Shows you how important it is to have a lob in your repertoire. He's been deadly with it today, and he's won a lot of very important points with the topspin lob. Once again, he viciously comes over the top of that ball and lands a good foot inside the court.
McEnroe has already had his serve broken 4 times in the match. And he's winning just 50% of the points on his first serve. John has been the target that Michael Chang loves so often tonight, and Chang is using it.
Good shot here of Chang. Now gets that racket back real early, then slips that racket right over the ball from another angle. McEnroe cleanly passed. I'm impressed with how quickly the racket comes over the ball on both the forehand and the backhand.
He really snaps over. That's what makes that ball dip, especially on that topspin lob. It's way underneath it, but then snaps right at the top.
There's a mention, McEnroe not doing well on his serve.
Normally you see him win a lot more points on his first serve. The percentage would be up quite a bit more than that.
quiet, clean.
Isolated shouts of some encouraging, some sarcastic.
John, I know he's been trying to do, but has not been effective at executing it. When you're that firm on the volley, Chang does not have a second shot.
Again, but Chang still is up a break in the second set.
And very similar to this match, Nastase running down everything that Ash could throw at him, and Ash played a very similar game to McEnroe. Came to net a lot, tried to take Nastase's second serve and come in. Nastase just ran every single ball down. I remember him sliding all over the grass at Forest Hill.
Center court of the old stadium there at Boston.
There's an outstanding point won by McEnroe.
The crowd's looking for an excuse to get revved up. McEnroe coming in, really gets up high. Good vertical leap, and just played the backhand volley, jamming him in the stomach. Played it right off, slid it off the strings of his racket.
Tom Gorman, the U.S. Davis Cup captain, very interested in this match. Two Americans, Michael Chang and John McEnroe. Big Davis Cup match coming up in Kansas City. We'll go with Courier and Agassi against the two Germans, Becker and Stieg. Should be a beauty out there.
Talk about great Davis Cup players. McEnroe holds the record for most singles win.
Trying to get McEnroe back in this set. One break of serve for McEnroe, I think, would get this place to its highest noise level of the night. Chang has been very tough on his serve.
John had decided for sure to come in behind that second serve. Miss hit it.
And John knows he's not very far behind in this match. If he could get a break here, it's only a set, and they're even on serve in the second set. Moving in, trying to put pressure on Chang's serve, body weight going forward, and he really wanted to go straight forward through the ball and just miss hit it.
Chang's giving him some opportunities now. One more right here.
That's the first break point for McEnroe in the second set.
This point right here, the most important of the match thus far for John McEnroe. What do you think, Venus? Does he come in? I think for sure he'll try and come in behind this second serve.
Well, he's going to push forward.
Here he comes.
Nope. John stay back on a second serve break point too often.
I was surprised. I thought for sure he'd take that and go in.
Maybe a little bit gun shy. Chang has been so effective when he's been at the net.
Point number 2. 20,000 running to will some positive energy in the McEnroe. Great point here at break point. Hits the top spin forehand. Chang right there, but there's the winning forehand cross court. Set up from another angle here. There's the lob right there that set it all up. Back on his toes now. Back inside the baseline. He anticipates well to his left and then just crunches.
He's pumped up after that one.
Tatum O'Neal. A little happier now. 4 games in.
McEnroe still has to be more consistent on his serve.
And Barry, on that break point, you see where he put that little bit of extra on the approach shot, kind of kicked up with his legs, trying to throw a little bit more body weight into it, a little bit more sting. Has to throw off Michael Chang's timing just a little bit.
Number 4.
The baseball-like wind-up, turning away from your opponent and throwing yourself back into the court. Ace all the way. 4 aces to McEnroe, 2 to Chang.
Different here in these last 5 or 6 points.
Well, McEnroe just putting a little more oomph into the shot. Watch it again here. John with a good approach. Now he sets it up, and you can see his grimace there. As Venus said, he's just kicking more body weight into those shots. Michael stretched out wide, could not make that shot. Amazing, just that little bit of extra gave him about 2 feet there.
And John's better off missing that volley outright, trying to go for the line with more pace than having Chang pass you and you having to keep working and working for your points.
Kicking wide serve, McEnroe holds at low. And he has a 5-4 edge in the second set. The statement about Patrick McEnroe's emergence on the tennis scene is that John McEnroe now has an initial in front of his name.
Well, of the 20,000 people here tonight, I'd say at least maybe 10 or 12 were here the other night when they were Connors fans. Now they're McEnroe fans.
passing shot. John was actually in the driver's seat, drilled one to the backhand side. Now he'll go to the forehand, and he comes right down the line. John never really moved towards it. Good depth on that forehand. You take away two options for Michael Chang. You can't go cross court or down the line. You can only go down the line because you hit the volley so hard.
Here you see McEnroe following up that tremendous approach shot. And Michael Chang, miraculously here, gets his racket on this ball, and not only gets it on the ball, kept it low. Look at his skill.
But the only option he had was go down the line. He did not have enough time to hit it cross court. So John realized that, moved over to the down the line, covered it, and hit it into the open court. John won't mind hitting those volleys all day long.
Complete reversal of the first set. Of the match, and McEnroe has evened it. A very steady Michael Chang making a most uncharacteristic error.
And on those two tosses, watch John now really putting the pressure on well inside the baseline, lets it go, and McEnroe knows he's got the second set. But Vitas on the toss. On both those serves, Michael Chang threw that ball way behind him, much more than he normally does.
Well, John had already planted the season. Every time you're going to hit a second serve, I'm going to put pressure on you.
Watch the Chang serve now here at set point down. Michael with a toss way behind. Look, he's got to arch the back way behind.
Match even, but Chang with a relentless barrage of passing shots. Already lost as many games tonight as in his first two matches combined. Well, McEnroe had two very easy matches also, so simple routes have ended for both of them. McEnroe has a strong retort for a taunting fan.
Yeah. Knew that he was lucky because he wanted to punch it, but didn't put enough stick on it, and Chang missed the passing shot. But John was very fortunate.
He was talking to himself after that point,
He
saying,
said,
hit that forehand volley.
That's right.
Crunch it.
That's what he did at the end of the second set. Just started to play a lot more aggressively, hit the ball with a lot more authority.
There's the sort of unusual grip from Michael Chang on the return.
No flash photography.
McEnroe didn't quite get to that first shot. Easy forehand put away, even though John tried to anticipate it.
Give Michael Chang credit, coming right back. Now has a break point.
For serve.
Will Chang attack a second serve here on break point?
No way.
Second set, but Chang breaks to start the third. This match already 2 hours, and the strong possibility exists for 2 more. We could have after midnight part 2.
McEnroe group looking on. John Sr., Kay there behind the flowers. Those are those flowers you ran into on your Venus. I'll never forget that shot. He went wide, ended up in the flowers. It took him about 3 days to get back.
Amazing thing about this year for Michael Chang, it has been for him such a tough year. He is 1-8 this year against players who are seeded at the U.S. Open. His only win over Guy Forget at the French Open. Love 30. Let's go down to Michael Barkan.
Well, I'll tell you, Patrick McEnroe here, and your brother's down 4-2 in the second set. He loses the first set 6-4. And what's going through your mind at that point?
Well, actually, I just arrived. One of my best friends has a bachelor party tonight, so I was there. I got here at about 4:00. So I heard about what happened towards the end of in the middle of the set, and obviously John was playing well, and Michael turned around just the same way John just did in the second. So it's looking like it's going to be an interesting match.
It sure does. You say John was playing well. What were the keys to the turnaround, do you think, in your brother's comeback in the second set?
Well, I think he started getting a little better direction on the serve. He was placing his serve better. Obviously, he's not going to overpower Michael with his serve, but he started to get more placement and put a little pressure on Michael, and Michael was a little unsure, I think, whether John was going to come to net or stay back. So I think he's chipped up a little bit overall, and hopefully he's about to break.
There he goes. Now, you played Michael before. You talk at all with John about this, or how would you assess Michael Chang going in as an opponent?
Well, obviously, Michael has got incredible foot speed, and that's his biggest asset, as well as his mental ability. I mean, he'll fight you all the way to the end. And John's played him a few times, so he knows what to do against him. And he's just got to put the pressure on him and try to mix it up a bit and keep Michael guessing.
It's been a few days since your loss to Jimmy Connors. What have you come away with after that?
Well, I've learned a lot from the match. I learned a lot about myself and what it takes to win a match like that against a great player like Jimmy. And he did what he had to do to win the match. I learned that maybe I'll handle things a little bit differently next time. But it's been tough. I really felt like I had the match won. But Jimmy, is tremendous. I mean, obviously can't say enough about him as a competitor and whatnot. But I learned a lot from the match, and I hope to take that with me. And I think I'll be back here again and show that, I keep progressing.
You're playing with Big Brother tomorrow night right here on the Stadium Court in doubles. How do you assess that one?
It was fun. We got out yesterday and played a match, and we had a real good crowd. And it was nice for me to be able to come back and play a match here at the Open, because I look forward to the Open all year. It's the biggest tournament I want to do well in the most, and to lose like I did was tough. But it was nice to come out and great to play with John, and hopefully we can keep going and win a few more rounds in doubles.
All right, always a gentleman, Patrick McEnroe. Thank you. Back upstairs.
John involved in quite a tussle with Michael Chang. 15 all here in game 3 of the third set.
John's trying to swarm all over the net in this game to get the break back early on in the third set. Right on top there, anticipates and makes sure that he doesn't give Chang a second chance to run the ball down.
I was out in Chicago when Patrick played John in that final earlier this year. And what an interesting day that was. Patrick really had some chances to beat John that day. But he said it was the toughest match he ever played because obviously mixed emotions. John's trying to make a comeback here and play well. That was a really exciting day out there when they played against each other.
It's interesting in this era of men's tennis where power has become so much a factor of big serves. This match we've seen serve not be as important. We've had a lot of breaks of serve by both players.
Well, it shows that you can still win with having good service returns, and that you don't have to have 125-mile-an-hour plus serve. That placement, changes of speed, can win you matches. And the bottom line is speed kills. Quickness around the court can win you a whole lot of points.
For one of the few times McEnroe gets back, puts his racket on that topspin lob. Watch it now because he gets caught here, but he moves back quickly, ready to volley, and then here it is, the lob. John just lunges up, gets his racket on the ball, and somehow stays in the point. Actually, the ball was so slowly hit that it died on Michael Chang. Patrick's right. He's starting to hit that second serve a lot better. The direction's tougher. There's one of the great hackers in the world of tennis, Bud Collins, studying the situation. Boy, he looks serious tonight.
Just like Alan King, he credits you, Barry, for the great forehand he has. And McEnroe holds. A 2-1 McEnroe in the third. And despite the 13 years of difference in age between these two players, two very tough, fierce battlers on the court,
well, everybody talks about age, but Jimmy Connors in the fourth and fifth sets against Patrick McEnroe was stronger than he was at the beginning of the match.
Chang has had, for a 19-year-old, an awful lot of big match experience.
Well, anytime you win a Grand Slam, as he did at the French, you learn awfully quick, Barry, about pressure.
But it is shocking how much lack of success Chang had this year has had against good players. You know, just that 1-8 mark.
A look now at the second set statistics. McEnroe serving at 63% first serves. Not much difference in there, except aces, obviously. John well ahead in that category. Chang not serving well at all, only 39%.
Oh.
Even though Chang won that point, Barry, you mentioned that on that break point, Chang tossed the ball way over to his left. He's starting to do that all the time now in his second serve, and I think that'll give McEnroe a lot of opportunities to take advantage of it. In the first set, Chang was throwing the ball a lot further to the right and out in front. That's why he was winning a lot of easier points.
Well, the more spin on the ball, the higher it's going to bounce, which will give John a chance to come over the ball. And he's starting to do that on that forehand cross-court return.
And if you toss it way to the left, a lot of times your second serve will come up short.
There it is, right there. It's the 9th time tonight that Michael Chang has hit a winner off a topspin lob to win the point. In quickly now, here it comes again. McEnroe, with his weight moving forward, gets caught for the 9th time.
But I think McEnroe feels that he's starting to push Chang further and further back from the baseline, and that's going to make his lobs a little bit more accessible to McEnroe. He'll start getting a couple of those.
And Chang for 2-all, third set.
I'm talking to somebody right in that tunnel down there behind the cameraman. I'm not sure who it was at this point.
The gentleman seated right above the cameraman.
That's Billy Gilmore, one of the supervisors from Australia. That gentleman right behind the camera. We'll try and find out what that was all about.
Whatever McEnroe said, Mr. Gilmore nodded affirmatively to him.
Really?
Two-all for on serve, third set. Some incredible amount of tolerance for McEnroe to keep coming to the net in the face of those lobs.
Well, that's his game plan. A great volleyer won't get gun shy, and he'll keep coming in. He knows he's going to get past, and he's going to get a couple times with lobs over his head. He's just committing a fraction too early, getting it a little bit too tight right away.
That replay showed you how quickly that racket comes up and over the ball, too. One of the best offensive topspin lobs in the game. Michael Chang.
That was not a bad forehand volley by McEnroe.
No.
The things are that if he keeps hitting a deep like that, Chang will not be able to hit too many more perfect lob winners like that. Good footwork. He sees the short ball, comes right in, prepares it with that forehand grip. John, try to anticipate it, but too much pace from Chang.
Let's get back to that passing shot point. Has Chang hit passing shots and topspin lobs above his normal game in this match that he won't be able to keep up?
I think he has had a very high percentage of passing shots against McEnroe, but John had not been very aggressive with them earlier on in the match, and then when he started to be a little bit more forceful with them, was not as successful.
Well, the other point there, Ted, is that the topspin lob has become one of 3 passing shots, which is a little rare. I mean, you only hit that shot on the occasion. But tonight, he's used it like a backhand passing shot, a forehand passing shot, and the lob.
Great.
Joined us for Up All Night here at the US Open, the National Tennis Center. McEnroe and Chang are in all likelihood going to take this one past midnight. Up All Night will air on the East Coast in its entirety. It'll be coming up at the bottom of this hour, 11:30 Eastern Time. But Ronda would love this match.
Barry, as a barrier, it didn't really bother me to get past at the net. This Chang running wide for the forehand. He really snaps at it, but he's way too far back in the court to make an effective passing shot. As a barrier, I didn't mind getting past, but it really annoyed the heck out of me to get topspin lobbed over my head. And I used to hate playing that guy Borg. I mean, I used to get a kink in my neck. He was a topspin lob me all the time. Barry, in your era of tennis, who had a good topspin lob?
Well, the one guy who was starting to really hit it was Rod Laver. I saw a few shots of rockets over everybody's head on the full run off the forehand.
And Manolo Santana, I think, also topspin lob very well.
He played a little bit beforehand, Venus. I forgot how old he was.
Couldn't get enough. And the pendulum in the third set swings back towards Michael Chang.
Get you caught up in all the action as we look at the McEnroe-Chang match right now on Stadium Court. First, let's go back to tennis. Here's Ted Robinson, Barry McKay, and Venus Gerolaitis.
Bruce Michael Chang serving at 15 love. Chang ready to play, and McEnroe walking. Again, he's trying to control the tempo.
Well, you're allowed 25 seconds, Ted, between points, and John using most of that time between every point.
Oh!
Well, his percentages, when you think about how many times he's tried the topspin lob, are pretty good tonight, because that is not a routine shot. You are going to miss a lot of those with bad timing. McEnroe did not hit the approach shot he wanted to there. Came up a little bit short. Now watch Chang, because he gets set for this passing shot real early, sets up for it, and then just whips it cross court. Didn't get pressed back far enough on that shot.
Mixing up the harder first serve with a spinner that we've seen him use quite a bit in the past.
I don't think he's serving quite as effectively now as he was earlier in the match. But John has not really been able to take advantage of it. Partly because he's had to work so hard on his own serve.
Seeing Michael Chang out at Palm Springs before he won the French Championships, practicing on the clay. Jose Higueras was there. And who was he practicing with? Pete Sampras, the guy who is now the defending champion here at the U.S. Open, before either of them had won a Grand Slam title.
Good face for McEnroe. The one weapon that would be so effective against Chang is power. That's the only weapon that McEnroe doesn't possess. Boris Becker used power to knock Chang out in the semis of the French this year.
Yes. That's where McEnroe's hands help him so much.
And he moves around the net about as well as anyone that's ever volleyed in the game. And he has that sense of when to close in. Lunges forward, and the racket is always out in front. Perfect volleying position.
Spectacular get from Michael Chang, making McEnroe work again on the overhead. Very few players would have even got the racket on this ball. McEnroe with the volley into the open court. Look how far away Michael is. Just gets it before it bounces twice and forces McEnroe into a fairly difficult overhead,
which he just made.
Yeah.
40-15.
Grip way around to the right on the return of serve from Michael Chang, ready to go with the two-hander. He comes to the left side.
And McEnroe holds. Chang up 4-3 in the third. Thank you, Bruce. Michael Chang serving at 40 love. And a big first serve, so Michael Chang has held for 5-3 in the third set. And again, a reminder to all of our USA viewers that at the bottom of this hour, due to our contractual obligations, we will be leaving this match, except for all of you in the Pacific time zone. And in the Pacific time zone, we will stay with this match until its conclusion. For the rest of you, CBS US Open late night coverage will join this match live at the bottom of this hour.
So all those people out there around the greater Bay Area. Stay tuned, I'm sure.
McEnroe needing to hold here at 3-5, third set. And holding serve has not been easy. McEnroe has had his service broken 6 times in the match. Well, under the lights this week, in the first week of the U.S. Open, it has been the Connors and McEnroe show. One McEnroe already gone, the other is in a tough fight with Michael Chang.
Really put a lot of zing on that forehand volley.
And he puts a lot of body English on his half volley. Watch him, he gets caught like he does so often there. Now watch the body English, just whips over it with the left-handed forehand and cracks a high backhand overhead. That is not an easy shot.
Very tough.
McEnroe holds. And Chang will have a chance to serve for the third set, as Michael Chang will be serving for the third set. And a reminder to those of you on the East Coast and Central time zones to join CBS for their late night live coverage of this match coming up momentarily. And for our entire USA crew, with Vitas Gerulaitis and Barry McKay, I'm Ted Robinson. For most of you, we'll see you tomorrow night on the Pacific time zone. We'll be back with you in a moment. And for all of you lucky folks, lucky enough to live in the Pacific time zone, double luck tonight, because you get more of Barry and Vitas.
I love it, Ted. You're so smooth. That's what happens when you live on that great West Coast. You get USA until its conclusion.
Two great points back to back.
Big time. John McEnroe needing a break to get even.
And we're going to hear a roar go up from this crowd if McEnroe can break serve here and get even at 5-all.
John broke back in a similar situation in the second set, trying to do it again here in the third set.
Just as Michael was ready to serve, somebody yelled out. So he let the ball drop very wisely. He'll start again. Now from this side is where McEnroe has had some success with that cross-court forehand approach. 15-30 on the ad court. We'll see if he tries it from this side.
tape. Just about to creep over and throw it back on John's side. John lines up. He wants to take advantage of the serve. Moving forward, Byron really cleans it. Sees it bounce up off the tape and bounce back on his side.
30 all. Chang serving for the set.
One lead.
Look at Michael. Thought for sure he couldn't believe the call.
Break point for 5 all for McEnroe.
Been going cross court on that shot in the edge court. That time he drilled it down the line. Surprised Michael.
15 games apiece after 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Well, Ted, you called it. You said this could be a long match. Vitas and I thought it would be a little quicker. Who says we're the experts?
Vitas and you hoped it would be a little quicker.
Of the second set. McEnroe broke back, started to get a lot more aggressive with the shots.
The medication beginning to take effect in certain sections of the crowd.
I thought I heard it. Just do it there.
You'll hear a lot more than just do it from the stands.
After this game,
McEnroe put some zip into that first forehand volley. John, right here, really nails that forehand volley, but somehow Chang gets the shot. McEnroe back quickly, nails the overhead. Look at Chang again. Almost got his racket on that ball. From another angle here, the top spin lob. Now watch Michael. Talk about defense. Go for it, Michael.
It's a lot to get it past the flying Chang. We talked about earlier, the points haven't been long in this match, but the pace extremely deliberate.
There's a lot of service break for two players of this caliber in this event. court, drop volleys. Watching here because he was right on top of the net on this shot. Just tries the angle. The ball hits the top, tries to climb over. Doesn't make it.
He really tried to get a little bit too fancy with that shot. He had the whole court to shoot at, and he played it so fine instead of just pushing it back into the open court.
McEnroe has been in 128 times, still not up to that 7 out of 10 percentage, but
it's been
working
quantity,
on
not quality.
Right. John Sr. It's a good luck though. When he throws the tie over the right shoulder, that means McEnroe wins this point. It's an old Irish custom.
And it gives both ground strokers and net rushers equal opportunity to play on the surface.
Another reason for a match being longer, neither player getting first serves in. Chang was broken to lose the second set. He now serves to send the third to a tiebreak.
There's a miss hit off the frame of Chang's racket. Serves again, Vitas. He was hitting it a lot flatter early in the match.
And then when I think it got a little bit tighter in the second set, he started to toss the ball a little bit to the left. We'll see how it holds up in this game.
Well, Michael's having some trouble with the toss. And he doesn't like it. That time it was way too far behind him. Look at the Michael Chang toss now. He throws the ball up, has a look at it, and it's way over the shoulder behind him. But as you mentioned, Vitas, he's starting to hit that more often. A lot of spin on the second serve.
And it's going to keep pulling it shorter and shorter.
It's one of those cheat points that you get at a crucial stage in the match. Really helps.
Well, you can expect to make some mistakes when you keep pushing forward like that. But his percentages of making them have not been very high. But that was a good second serve by Chang. Knifing the ball. Yeah. When you really put on a lot of extreme slice, and that keeps the ball really low, very tough to pass.
Joe Chang looking on. There's Betty Chang in the front row along with Carl.
By McEnroe, who thought he had gotten the forehand deep into the court against Michael Chang. A good look at it here. John tries to surprise him with the forehand down the line, tries to sneak in, but he didn't expect Chang to come up with an answer. Good forehand cross court. Another shot of the Chang forehand. He got over there so quickly. McEnroe didn't think he'd get over there and anticipate it. Big point.
And Chang serves his third ace to hold and send the third set to a tiebreak. McEnroe to serve first. 7 points, wins it. You must win by 2. Chang now will serve twice.
John knew it was going to be wide the minute he hit that forehand. He goes for it here, comes around, tried to bring it in with a little body English, but he knew it was wide.
There's a big, hard, flat first serve. 108 miles an hour. Chang has a 3-0 lead in the tiebreak.
The two weapons that have really worked for Michael tonight, the topspin lob and the first serve, believe it or not.
We haven't seen a good first serve for a while, but he's brought it back in a very opportune time.
Ball on the right, Betty Chang.
Quiet, please.
McEnroe Sr. satisfied. Chang just jumped all over with that two-hander.
McEnroe in a deep hole now. Chang 4-1 and 2 serves.
And that time, Vitas, even though he threw the ball behind him, he got into it pretty flat. So what we're seeing here is a Michael Chang who can vary his serve a lot more than he could 1 year ago.
He also hasn't been afraid to come to the net, take a couple of chances.
And on big points.
Another big serve. Ace number 5 gives Chang 5 set points.
And this is really ironic when you think that Chang reached 6-1 in this tiebreak, not with running spectacular shots, but with 2 service aces.
He dominates the tiebreak. And Chang leads 2 sets to 1. There's Patrick McEnroe matching. Max exodus occurring here after Chang won that tiebreak.
We should know better by now.
I would think so. I talked to a lot of people after that Connors match that night. They called up the next morning and said, "What a pity Jimmy couldn't win that match." I said, "Are you kidding? When did you leave?"
Barry, in 15 years, there will have been 100,000 people at that match till the bitter end.
That's right.
People never learn. A lot of people walked out on me in '79 when I was down 2 sets of 11 to break to Roscoe Tanner in the semis here.
How'd you do in that match, Peter?
I ended up winning it. Did they ever learn? No.
All right.
Michael Chang serving to start the 4th set.
I was really surprised to see Chang serve as well as he did in that 3rd set, Barry.
I'm amazed at what he can do with the serve. Not just the spin, but he gets some kick and some bump into that shot. One right there. This could be a huge psychological lift for McEnroe to break right back. First game of the 4th.
I'm sure we haven't seen the last service break of this match. The way things have gone through 3 sets.
No.
Second double fault. The first one cost Chang a set.
Venus, we've seen this so often. You get the break, you're up 2 sets to 1, then you first game of the 4th set, there's a certain letdown here for Michael. He's got to fight it.
And you try to tell yourself, come on, bear down.
Oh, Chang got there. But he did not hit the winner. And McEnroe breaks to start the 4th. Chang spent some time in Southern California.
John being bi-coastal, having a home on the west coast of Los Angeles and here in New York City.
And we're pleased to be able to bring you continuing coverage of this match for all of our viewers in the Pacific time zone and the beautiful islands of Hawaii.
It's really been a seesaw match, Barry. Every time one player gets an advantage, the other one takes over and gets a break.
Even on the games McEnroe has held serve, I think he's had to work harder on his own serve throughout the evening than Michael Chang has.
Well, if there are any questions of whether John could hang in there for a couple of hours tonight, I think have been answered. He looks pretty fresh. We knew Chang was going to be fit and ready to play.
John McEnroe watched Patrick's match Tuesday night at home. He was preparing to sleep for his second round match the next day.
Yeah, he said he could not go to bed. He was tied up with Patrick's match against Jimmy Connors.
Patrick's hanging in here tonight.
Chang asking, has the Cyclops been turned off?
It was the other night. There is Cyclops, the automatic service line caller. Now that had some stick, Venus. That cross court. McEnroe really putting this into it. Thought he had forced Michael to overhit this ball as it comes right to us.
About 10 feet in front of the linesman. He had the best look at it. We're at deuce.
Good lead by McEnroe to get that topspin lob. Don't have McEnroe's call. Will be shorter service game.
Only one deuce point. There have been 4 and 5 deuce point games in this one.
Well, the way Chang's been returning tonight, that's a pretty short game.
White lead.
No, only women do that.
Ask and you shall receive.
And we shall look. And we shall not be able to tell.
He's got a man looking at you.
McEnroe drills it here, gets caught, the ball just off his racket, and the racket hit way back. Beautiful touch.
Chang still has in that arsenal a tough first serve, 110 miles an hour on that.
But John's starting to get a few more opportunities on second serves.
There's the cross court.
The McEnroe Connors match on Tuesday night. They really exited earlier after 2 sets to love.
There are still a very good number of the 20,000 plus here at Stadium Court that have left and watched tonight. It's Friday night.
I see no reason to leave. We're here. We're loving it.
For all those folks out in Malibu, they're still with us.
There's a star Tuesday night, up all night. Patrick McEnroe.
Patrick must have found the handover you were looking for. It's
second serve. That time by John McEnroe.
Of what has happened in the match to this point. McEnroe with 15 more unforced errors. Still not winning a good percentage of the match. Despite that, the match is on a games and points basis virtually even. After this much tennis, how much of what's left is technical? And how much of what's left is mental and the will and the guts?
I think it's about 80% mental at this point. They're both playing well, moving well.
Now a break point for Chang. Let's get this set back on serve.
Even game, so.
For Michael Chang to take the second serve and move in behind it. We rarely see him do that. Watch Michael now on this point, because he takes his backhand, hits it, and then decides to come in, gets caught on the low volley. And that's the difference between a McEnroe and a Chang in that situation. John would have handled that low volley like a routine shot for serve.
Again, that's what Michael Chang has spent this year doing. He felt his game had become predictable.
Next year, bro. That's good for this year first.
Unbelievable shot by McEnroe on the reflex volley.
McEnroe charging the net, lunges to pick that ball up. Chang then hits the top of the corner and was guessing the wrong way, lunged at it, and it looked like the ball was almost going out. It came right at Chang.
Watch the reflexes from McEnroe now. Low volley, starts to go the other way, and then gets jammed. Look at that. Just rack it out in front. Michael got caught.
And McEnroe holds for 3-1 in the fourth.
And Chang was so surprised by that one volley, he ended up hitting the forehand from the baseline in the air. Watch it here now. This is the last point. McEnroe back quickly. He just nails that overhead. But the point before, Vitas, weren't you surprised that Chang ended up swinging on the full from the baseline?
I think he was undecided. Didn't know if the ball was going out. I took a swing at it.
Problem adjusting to play tennis at 10 minutes after midnight?
I don't think so,
You don't do
Ted.
very often.
No, indoors, there are a lot of times when you play late at night, especially when there's only one court in an arena.
Seventh ace for Chang.
What really happens on the time, Ted, is that it's not the time of day or night. It's the time and the feel of the match that's going through your head. You know exactly where you are with your physical partner.
Very few athletes in other sports have to contend with the erratic times, though, that a tennis player will during a championship event like this.
I think that's what makes the Grand Slam so tough, too. You got to win 7 matches over a 2-week period, and you might have to win a match at 1:30 in the morning and be back late that night. You might have to play 2 matches on the same day or on days right after another.
How about playing at Wimbledon? You could start the tournament on Monday, and this year maybe not play a match till Friday because of the rain.
Exactly.
The second serve starting to get shorter and shorter, Barry. McEnroe having a great opportunity to come in and really give it a whack. At that time, Chang did not have the time to hit a good topspin lob over John.
The last second serve for Chang is 59 miles an hour.
The speed is not quite as important as the depth. At that time, it barely got past the middle of the box.
Steve Ulrich.
correcting the call at his first serve. After a 59-mile-an-hour comes the 110-mile-an-hour ace.
Ted, you cover a lot of baseball. Isn't that called a change of pace?
Well, it's the most effective part of pitching, changing speeds.
At the beginning of the match, would you have predicted that Chang would have more aces than McEnroe?
No way.
8-5.
Chang holds. So the fourth set rolls along. McEnroe up 3 games to 2. 3 hours and 21 minutes. And in the fourth set, McEnroe is up a break. Chang leads 2 sets to 1. McEnroe had the first set in his grasp at 4-2 and 40-30 and wound up losing it. He won the second. The third set, Chang in the tiebreak.
This return, McEnroe barely finished his stroke, and then Chang just powered that cross-court return. Kind of shakes you up a little when you serve the first point. It's past him.
Patrick McEnroe made a good point before. For John to hold his serves a little bit easier, he's got to be a little bit more accurate with his serve. Varying the paces.
6 days for McEnroe. They played 3 hours and 22 minutes of tennis, and Chang has won 128 points, and McEnroe 123. 5 points difference.
Gee, that's close. McEnroe wasn't all that sure that lob was going out.
And you know, this crowd beginning to sound like that crowd that was behind Connors the other night. Every time McEnroe wins a point, you hear a roar go up.
Chang not having the range with his topspin lob that he had earlier on in the match. He was really hot with the topspin lob earlier on. Now, the last couple times, McEnroe has been able to anticipate it and put it away.
Drill that forehand down the line. Chang ready so quick on that shot. It was not a bad volley. John in quickly here. Low volley. Gets it deep though. Michael back quick and just drills it down the line. But Chang hit that shot well because he got ready so quickly for it.
Saw Chang coming in, wanted to play a little chip backhand shot down at Chang's feet, but couldn't get it over the net.
McEnroe has the break edge in the fourth set.
Chang has really made McEnroe work throughout this home match on his serve.
Return of serve from Michael Chang. Just jumps on it way out in front. And the rocket over that right shoulder. Tremendous power from that follow through. He's pumped.
And a break point.
done very well on big points tonight.
McEnroe charging right in behind his serve on the break point.
And sometimes, Vitas, even though you know that ball's coming on the left-handed serve out wide to the backhand, you anticipate it, you do the best you can. It's just too tough a serve.
Those are two big first serves.
That time John really got it out wide to Chang's forehand. And even if he had gotten it back, he would have opened the court. Tough week for Mr. McEnroe. He's had to go through a couple tough matches.
I'm not sure Mr. McEnroe's moved in 3.5 hours.
I think he's living out here somewhere underneath this stadium.
I don't think he's left the site for a couple of days.
McEnroe up 4-2 in the fourth set.
John seems to have an uncanny ability to relax between points, too. I just saw him go over and towel off there, and his whole body just kind of looked like it was totally relaxed. Now he's back into it again.
He's been in all sorts of situations before, so he knows how to conserve energy. How to turn it on and off. He was just toweling off a couple seconds ago, and there he was sprinting as fast as he can to the net, putting away a forehand volley.
And even though McEnroe has one service break, he'd love to break right here, crossover, and serve for the fourth set.
I think Chang's starting to feel a little bit more tired. His ground strokes are starting to fall a little bit shorter in the court, and he has really lost the range on his top spin lob. John has been relentless in his attack at the net. He can hit the cross court a lot harder. He's going over the lower part of the net, and also you've got the diagonal is a lot longer. You have more court to hit into.
Michael Chang knows the set slipping away. 2 break points here.
Conserving energy. He hit the short ball. Watch it one more time now, because John knew the minute he hit this return, he was out of the point. The ball floats. Now Michael's in quick. Now watch right here. McEnroe says, I'm not going to go for that. He's going to get ready for the next point.
crucial point. He kept the approach shot exceptionally low. Really throws his body at it, comes under the ball, knifes it. And then Chang did well to get it down the line pretty low. And McEnroe was a little bit too casual with that volley.
That's his style on that little shot. Even then,
even for John, it looks a little bit too casual.
Exactly.
Chang saves 2 break points.
Oh, midcourt saved him. Wow, what a lucky midcourt. I thought he had a clean ace there.
Come on, Johnny, left.
John's still moving like a cat. See, when he was preparing for the lob, he kept shuffling those feet, not committing too soon.
Third break point of the game. McEnroe will serve to the fourth in a moment. Well, it's just another routine night on Stadium Court. Calm, nice little match between 2 fair, middling players.
And this last point, the best point of this match, McEnroe zips one here and then right into the open court. But after 3 hours and 35 minutes, that was the best point of the evening.
And McEnroe serving now to send this match to a 5th set.
Big improvement from McEnroe. 4th set service percentage, 73%. That's high.
Never sleeps again. Two service breaks feel awfully good.
It's been the story of this match. Service has been far from a given. And Chang has 3 break points.
Triple break.
Both players have walked quite a few miles out there today. They have been all over the court.
There have been very few games won at love or 15. Every game is going to seemingly a deuce point.
They've been going toe-to-toe right from the very first point. No real lulls in the match. High standard throughout.
Two saved and one left. And McEnroe has played at break points very well.
Thought he had a winner approach shot.
You notice how John looked back at that line. He wasn't sure.
And the linesman.
He was sure. And Chang is unsure now. 7 aces for McEnroe. And a set point.
We've heard some roars over the last few nights. If he wins this one, we're going to hear another one of those.
We'll check it on the decibel meter.
John McEnroe, a 4-time against Michael Chang into a 5th set.
Michael looks like he's trying to rush a little bit right now.
Sometimes helps. You've been so tight and everything. You miss a ball, might as well miss it badly. Lets it steam off a little bit at this point in the match.
Nice looking backhand pass by Michael Chang. John looking to take the serve, come into net. Didn't hit it quite deep enough. Chang having the opportunity to get down low and whip it cross court.
serve to start the fifth. And after 4 sets, the points won. McEnroe 138, Chang 137. That's even closer, Vetus.
Closer and closer.
McEnroe has not played a 5-set match this year.
Not until tonight.
Mixing up his serve well. Previous point went out wide to the backhand side. That time serving it out to the forehand side.
Is there any mental block for Chang knowing he's never beaten McEnroe when you get to a 5th set?
At this point, I don't think so. I think those are all out the window. I think all they're thinking about is this moment right now. Too much recently, the topspin lob. John gets in awfully quick after this serve. A nice easy motion and then a couple of quick steps right there. A couple big steps and then just blocks the shot. Gets jammed a little bit. But most players like the backhand volley when they're in that situation.
Why did you shrink so?
Chang thought he got a good enough approach shot there. McEnroe with that early preparation. Whack. Cross court.
Shot that's working for him tonight. The cross-court forehand beat. How often he has used it, and that time on the return of serve. Watch him jump into this cross-court now. The minute he sees the opportunity, there it is. Watch a couple of steps, and then right on top of the net, punch volley into the open court.
That time Chang wanted to go cross-court, but McEnroe hit the ball too hard for him to snap it over. Good approach shot, nice and deep. Covered the right shot. Misplayed it.
You don't take clubs here, Venus. Who did you will them to when you first played?
point has really worked against Chang.
You could see the replay from the point before, and you see almost the same thing as McEnroe just climbed on that forehand one more time. Watch John. He is really going to show Michael that he is inside that baseline here. You can hear it from up here. McEnroe broke a string on the return serve. At this point, he has already broken the string. Now he goes up, he knows the racket is broken. I'm surprised he still didn't go for it. That is incredible. What a time to break a string. As he goes over and checks a couple rackets now.
Returning on a break point.
And I saw a racket disintegrate almost at the identical time, 2 out of 3 in San Francisco when he was playing Butch Walsh years ago. The racket just fell apart.
And McEnroe still has had the better of things on break points, and he has another here.
Getting on the baseline, hits it in deep. Now he tries to take advantage of that, but Chang has the answer to it. The good little topspin backhand. Gets down low to it. That was a big point, saving another break point.
McEnroe was leaning to his right there just for a second. I thought Chang was going to go down the line.
Slip away. He had 2 break points.
And once again, he was going for that cross-court forehand into the Chang backhand. It's worked so well tonight.
He hasn't missed too many of those.
That up early in the match, Barry.
Comeback from Michael Chang to hold his serve. You know, the announcers are. It's not your deal.
Really?
That match, Connors against Patrick McEnroe the other night, lasted 4 hours and 18 minutes. The question is, will we break that record here tonight?
Well, we're certainly working on it.
Michael Chang played an outstanding game in that third game. He was down 2 break points and managed to hold his serve.
That volley and he's going to go wide.
I think he's annoyed with himself, not the ball.
Exactly.
Ball is out. McEnroe had a great serve, sets himself up perfectly, just the way he wanted it, and he just stood up a little bit upright, did not get down to the volley.
A reaction here from McEnroe. In Phoenix, we've seen him play a lot. Tonight, even though he casually hits a lot of shots, I've seen him miss a couple, what I would have to say, very casual shots. On that one, and on that other backhand.
White leads.
Really helped that time.
Second serve was very deep.
Another look at this point. McEnroe inside the baseline. Now watch this. He gets caught. And if that ball doesn't get called out, he loses the point. And would have been down 40 love.
This game where he set himself up to a position where he really likes to be in, and he misses both volleys. McEnroe sets himself up, hits the forehand, anticipates where it's going, lunges in the correct direction, and then just nets it. And he's just frustrated. Not a ball that he normally would miss.
3 volley errors
in this one game, which is very unusual for McEnroe.
First serve.
Has had a long night in that umpire's chair tonight. 3 hours and 59 minutes. Plus a 5-minute warm-up. It's more than 4 hours.
That was a break point.
John.
Well, if you've ever seen McEnroe get caught, he gets caught right here. The ball right at his shoe tops. He double hands it, improvises unbelievably, and gets out of trouble.
That volley's not in the textbook, but it'll do.
What a beautiful thing to watch. It's so rare to see anymore. Everyone expected McEnroe to just steamroll Chang in this 5th set. And Michael Chang is one tough youngster. McEnroe fighting to stay even here. Remarkable shot. 2-all, fifth set.
Watch Michael now on this fantastic, almost yet good return here, and it just takes off cross court. Look at the intensity, and he whips the right off the surface of the court with the wrist. McEnroe just watching closely. He says, "Don't come over, don't come over."
Both players have back-to-back chances.
We've seen some very un-Chang-like play tonight. Serve and volley, overhead, aces.
We've seen Michael Chang tonight, guys. He's clearly a different player in 91. Do you think he's a better player?
No question about it. If he can keep playing like he's playing out here tonight, win or lose, he's going to be a much more dangerous player for the guys on this tour.
If he keeps working in this direction and gets more comfortable with a more aggressive game, I think you'll see an improvement in his tournament wins over the next year.
It's basically another dimension, Ted. It's an area that most players don't expect him to come through. The serve, the volley.
The second early morning this week for the McEnroe clan.
30-15.
Chang has been through all this before. At the French Open this year, he beat Jimmy Connors in an unbelievable 5-set match that had Roland Garros spinning for Connors.
Big first serve, 105 miles an hour. That's throwing McEnroe off a little bit tonight.
Starts to bounce that ball. Didn't like the way it was bouncing. Try another one here. Would you like to find the newest ball you can find at this point? Fire through the air a little bit quicker.
Chang with 5 sets worth of topspin lobs that have been nearly flawless. And we're on serve in the 5th set. We believe final set.
And a look at this last point from Michael Chang. Again, the topspin lob. He whips over that ball. Tremendous topspin. He knew he had it.
Into a hot, humid night, and Chang's court coverage is remarkable.
There is nobody faster right now than Michael Chang. McEnroe hits a great angle volley here. Thought he had the winner. Chang somehow got his racket on the ball. Another look at Chang on the full run. Whips it up the line. Man, does he get pumped up. Float right over that baseline.
That is close. McEnroe 154 points to Chang's 155.
McEnroe gave it one of those Air Jordans, and it backfired on him.
McEnroe charging the net. Sees the ball coming up to it. Try to make a spectacular smash. Hits it wide. Try to hit it a little bit too good.
Yeah. Those volleys, he really did. He gave it some stick, and Michael just too tough on the passing shot.
That time McEnroe hit the volley as hard as he could, except Chang this time anticipated going to his backhand side, and he had enough time to go down the line for the winner. Chang, great anticipation, great footwork. McEnroe, he knew he telegraphed the volley.
2 break points for Chang. Time where McEnroe will not have many more chances.
Chang really made some incredible gets that game. He's made some incredible gets all night long.
Maybe the best game he's played on return to serve all night.
Exactly right. They're going to have to try something new tonight. They're going to have to hustle the night session people out to make room for the day session folks.
For a moment, it looked like it was going to go long. Let's have another look. McEnroe watching it closely. The linesman watching it closely. Ooh, if that got any part of the line, it got a sliver from the backside of the line.
I like it. A sliver indeed.
Playing some great tennis right now. He's picked his game up.
Michael is bombing the ball at this point because John hit a good backhand volley. Another lunge right there. But Chang just too quick. From another angle here. Now watch how quick he hits this ball. Right in the center of the racket. He is nailing them cleanly right now.
year ago, you wouldn't have seen Chang take a ball 3/4 of the court, whack it, and come into net.
Looks like he did in the first game of the match. John McEnroe staring at the end. And Michael Chang has elevated his game in this set. 13 winners and just 3 unforced errors.
CBS is doing a live thing.
That's a shot that's worked so well for Chang throughout his 5-set match. I don't think John McEnroe is going to dream about this. I think he's going to have hallucinations about those top spin lob that Michael Chang is. Well, this has to be his most impressive match of the year.
You know, beating McEnroe at the U.S. Open is sort of like beating the Celtics or the Lakers. Everybody gets up for it, and it's big news.
Ever since McEnroe lost a chance to break Vegas in the third game of this set, seems like he's just slipped. And Chang
really turned it up a notch.
Chang looks like he could play 5 more sets. He's about to erase that from his ledger. And in impressive fashion. Chang is winning this match. Outstanding play in the 5th set. 2 match points. frozen look of horror on McEnroe's face as that ball sailed over his head.
He could do nothing but wait and see where the ball was going to land.
This is remarkable. 1:15 in the morning. At least 10,000 fans still here. And they want more. Dave, again, this is just about the time New York normally gets rolling on a Friday night. Michael Chang did not want to give McEnroe the slightest bit of hope. That has happened, and the crowd is seizing it. And McEnroe saved 2 match points. And is still alive. Chang has his one chance. One break is all that separates the players in this fifth set. Do you feel all right? Do they both feel pressure here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they are so pumped up. The adrenaline's going.
Kay has gone to courtside, and he will be there to interview both participants. Watch it again.
Really tough decision.
Yeah, it's not a fair replay, but the chair umpire's job is to overrule obvious mistakes. In Ulrich's opinion, this was one.
The ball out, first of all, and second of all, that had nothing, no interference at all. Oh, you didn't? There's no describe the way I think about you. You know that? Words cannot possibly describe how low I think you are.
sure Michael Chang would much prefer to run right on with the second point and served it up.
Perhaps a little gamesmanship.
Doesn't hurt.
First serve.
John McEnroe took that out of Michael Chang's book of how to make a great get and hit a winner on the dead run. Great second effort. John lines up the forehand, anticipates where it's going, and pokes it down the line to bring it to 15 all. Punt, Onyxo peaking, yes, that's in.
For McEnroe. McEnroe's going to run it right to the end.
Yogi Berra said it, they know until it's over. We've heard it time and time again.
If Chang can serve it out in this environment, you tip your hat to him in a grand way.
Well, this is nothing compared to what Patrick McEnroe will do the other night.
That's an ace. 10 for Chang.
Second ace of the game. Backhand a million times before, and he's pulled another one out again.
That would put this match back on serve in the fifth set. Chang points in this game have been aces. Michael Chang serving an ace to save a break point. It's a new concept.
I've got to get used to it.
Patrick is here, yeah. Same place he went before.
Chang, this is the ball. He thought it was long.
Another one that if it got the line, barely.
God, it caught a sliver of the line, according to Barry McKay. And then he just didn't move his feet.
A second break point for McEnroe.
4 changes coming.
Just nicked the top part of the net and it went over. Lines up McEnroe trying to sneak in and he just nicked the top of the tape. McEnroe went for it, but he had no chance.
Point number 3 for Chang. The first 2 were on McEnroe's serve. There is justice in the Chang world tonight. The game ended on a top spin line.
Ted, Michael, you're up 5-3, but you're down 2 break points in that last game. What was going through your mind?
Well, I was kind of debating whether or not to get the first serve in, and you know, as I was afraid if I missed the first serve, John would be all over the second one, and I kind of decided, you know, I'm out here to try to win the match, not for him to lose it, and so I just went for it, and I was, you know, fortunate enough to snag 2 aces on there. But that's one of the nice things. I don't ace very much, but boy, they come at the right time.
Michael, you served a lot of aces tonight. When I left the booth, you were up about 9 clean aces. Isn't that pretty good for you?
It's pretty good. I think that my percentage was low, and I was struggling through the second and third sets, and you know, John was able to really start to get a rhythm on my second serve, and I was trying to mix it up, sometimes to his forehand, sometimes to his backhand, and he was able to have a good rhythm off it, and it was becoming more and more difficult, and the first serve wasn't going in, so I was, you know, really happy at the end that it pulled out for me.
Michael, 13 winners on that topspin lob tonight. Have you ever used it as much as you did against John?
No, I haven't. I'll definitely keep it in mind because I think that's one of the major things that pulled me out of this one. So, it worked in the beginning, so I just decided to keep doing it.
All right, Stefan Edberg next round. Any thoughts on that? You played him some big matches in that French.
Well, I've had very close matches with him, and it's always difficult playing Stefan. He's getting better and better playing the big points, and he's becoming more and more mentally tougher. And that in itself is, I think, what propelled him to become #1. And it's going to be a difficult match. And right now I'm just looking to get some rest.
Can you win this U.S. Open, Michael?
Well, it's not something I'm thinking about at the moment. I'm just taking it one match at a time because there's just too many good players out there.
Thanks for stopping, Michael. Good luck.
Thanks, Barry.